Hello and welcome to the National University Esports League. I'm Sona and this is my co-caster X-Scoundrel.
And we are about to go live with our first match between Cardiff and Manchester. Manchester winning the last tournament against ACOG 2-1. They were the first seed coming to this tournament, and we're going up against the 16th seed, Cardiff. Fairly unknown, don't really know what their sort of skill level's like. So if you want to follow us, guys, go to facebook.com/TheNewellUK or Twitter @TheNewell. You can also follow all of the tournament info at www.thenewell.com/preseason friendly 2. That has all of the brackets updates, all of the teams, and all of the team members. So we're about to get live into the first picks and bans stage. I'm just going to let the teams know that we're ready to go. Are you looking forward to this match, Sona?
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a really good match. I haven't actually seen Manchester or Cardiff play before, but I know you have, and I think Manchester won the last one of these pre-season friendlies that was done, so it'll be interesting to see if they can continue that run of form.
Yeah, so we're just getting into picks and bans. Cast in the first ban coming out from Cardiff. It's quite a common ban you see between Silver and Gold Elo. His mobility makes it very scary, and now we've got the bans flying out here. Master Yi, obviously, because he's ridiculously OP with his AD rework, making him one of the worst snowball champions in the game, in my opinion. And Evelyn, I saw this a lot from Manchester last time they played. They really don't like playing against the Evelyn, and we've got the first pick, Shaco. Is this going to come out?
Really uncommon jungler to pick up first, especially since he's very good at counter jungling, but if he doesn't get ahead early game, he doesn't tend to win. Like, you need to be a good 3 or 4 kills ahead against your opposing jungler to actually win the game.
And he hasn't locked it in yet, so it could be a bit of a troll. I mean, Shaco has this ability to counter jungle really well, but he can be invaded if he doesn't actually do the invade. He's actually got a really weak 1v1 skirmish, unless he's very good with his boxes and things. But he hasn't locked in yet, and it's going to be a fiddlesticks maybe. He's a bit of flitting around the bush here. While he's just deciding, you've got a Thresh and a Varus ban as well coming up from Cardiff, and we've still got some of the big global ultimates coming out from Shen and the like, and it's a Jarvan locked in.
Jarvan, very good champion in the jungle. He can be played top lane as well. That Demacian Standard into Dragon Strike combination with the knockups and the Cataclysm just allows you to do a lot of CC and a lot of damage as well, actually, especially in 1v1s. Zac on the other team, again, huge mobility, huge CC. Like, the elastic slingshot into the Let's Bounce just allows you to do a huge amount of CC, and the damage is surprising.
Yeah, and Jarvan being a brilliant 1v1 bruiser, he can really hold his own in a counter jungle. Probably only sort of out counter jungle by people like Lee, who can obviously do some incredible damage early game, but his passive really chunks people because it does a percentage bonus physical damage. Zac, obviously incredibly good at starting fights, so it'd be nice to see if we get the Trebuchet again, which is the Zac combined with the Orianna. But Zac does work really well with Zyra. When he gets that Let's Bounce down into a team fight, she can throw down her Stranglethorns and really do some AoE CC there. Interesting to see that's going to be a Zyra mid lane or a Zyra support. Zyra mid lane, obviously very potent. I don't know if you've heard recently the new Riot build that Riot's been promoting as flavour of the month, which is the on-hit Zyra build. They call, is it Wildfire or something like that?
Wildfire Zyra.
They build Spirit of the Lizard Elder, Rylai's, and anything with on-hit effects, and they build the Banner of Command, so you get the 15% extra in damage, and it's all about your plant damage, so people don't expect it and don't kill the plants, and then they'll tend to taking chunk loads of damage from it. But obviously they've got a swap yet, so this could still be a Zyra support.
Zyra mid lane, as you say, is something that's come up a lot recently, and the CC combination with the Stranglethorns and the Let's Bounce and the Elastic Slingshot just does allow you a very, very hard engage from them. They don't have to think about CC for the rest of their champions, really. Maybe put a bit in the support, like with a Leona or even a Sona with the... Sona's actually been picked up by the other team, but they don't really need to look at CC for the rest of their team.
Interestingly enough, the champions like Shen and Malphite with these big sort of big presence ultimates are not being picked up here. I don't know whether one of the teams is going to consider it at some point. Shen is always very useful in my opinion. He can be countered in lane pretty quickly, but I personally think he's a useful champion in any situation. And we've got these bot lanes coming up together. If this is a Zyra support, that'll be a Zyra Caitlyn versus a Sona Ezreal. I personally would favour the Caitlyn lane here, obviously because she can outpoke with her range. Just depends on how good this Sona is. If this Sona is aggressive, they might be able to take the early upper hand. Ezreal, obviously one of the most popular AD carries in the game right now because of that big blue Ezreal build that's come out. The flavour of the year right now. People don't want to stop building it, and that's a Renekton picked up for the top lane in Manchester. Renekton, we've seen in a lot of the games that we've casted together, we've seen Renekton come out, and he is just that big bruisery, tanky top lane. He can almost win most lane matchups, and is really, if he does well, can become this horrifically monstrous presence coming out into the mid game team fights.
Yeah, I mean, talking a bit more about the Ezreal Sona, it is going to be interesting to see if he goes for that blue build, because if you go for a blue build Ezreal, you have a lot of sustain coming from the Sona, which is nice with her heal just coming around regularly, and the other team doesn't actually have that much sustain, so if you can hit a few Mystic shots, that lane should actually be able to beat a Caitlyn Zyra lane. The only worry they have is the damage that's going to consistently come out of Caitlyn and Zyra if Caitlyn gets those auto attacks off and gets the headshot procs, especially on the Ezreal.
Yeah, and with a blue Ezreal build, you're looking to delay the engage until it goes into your favour, so you probably want to be working with a team that's got a good poke. If they locked in the Zyra here, that's good. I mean, you have the volatile Spiderling from Elise and Zyra's orbs doing incredible amounts of damage in terms of poke, and that would be good for them. And then they've got the Jarvan for the big strong engage when they need it. Again, it's going to be up to how these lanes do, and we still don't know whether Zyra is going to be in the mid lane against the Syndra, or we're going to have a support come out now. But Syndra is one of these champions with a very high skill cap. She's very niche. You have to be particularly good. You have to be particularly good at her to play her. She's got the highest level 6 burst in the game mathematically. If you can get all of those orbs out and combo everything, then she's got the highest level 6 burst in the game. Mm-hmm. So she can almost one-shot most people at level 6 if played completely correctly. But she does have this big skill shots, and we have a Lissandra being picked up. Now, I personally don't know why this hasn't been played as much as it should have been done in the past few weeks when it came out. She's almost, in my opinion, one of the most useful champions in the game. She's got so much CC and so much damage. And I know they recently nerfed her damage because they thought she had too much utility and damage. She's still very, very, very potent. But then that's going to go change to a Lux now. So all that talk that I just gave there, completely useless. But Lux is very good in a composition with Caitlyn because she can obviously tilt over Peacemaker combined with the Lux, Final Spark, and Lucent Singularity, doing a lot of damage right there.
Mm-hmm. I like the Lux pick versus the Syndra pick just because if you can keep her at long enough range with your Lucent Singularity and with your Light Binding, she can't actually get in range to use those orbs against you to manipulate her balls and try and hit you with them. It will be interesting to see whether she's able to avoid that burst or whether she does actually get caught out by the Syndra in mid lane. And I think the first kill there is going to dictate who wins that matchup.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be up to the junglers as well. Jarvan versus a Zac. I personally favour Jarvan early on until Zac can level his Elastic Slingshot, because obviously Elastic Slingshot gets a longer range. The higher you level up, most Zac players will level that Elastic Slingshot first. Mm-hmm. But Jarvan obviously only needs 1 point in his standard and 1 point in his Dragon Strike to get these potent ganks off. He can obviously do well with his shield for the slowing, but most of his potency comes out from the knock-up. So if the Cardiff jungler can get out quickly and get some early ganks off, Zac will kind of be left in the water, especially as Jarvan has a quicker clear time than Zac as well, because obviously Zac is a magic damage based champion. You often find that magic and ability powered based champions clear a little bit slower. Obviously there's a few exceptions, like Elise clears very well and Mumu clears very well, but they have high damaging and AoE abilities. But in terms of Zac, Zac's actually got a fairly close clear speed, but he is very good sustain, because obviously his passive gives him some sustain there. Overall, what are you expecting to see these teams in terms of tactics? I personally will be thinking that Jarvan and the Cardiff team will be looking to get some early towers down. They're looking for that early global presence and take some quick objectives. They have a good late game right there. Syndra is very potent in the late game. Elise is very potent in the late game. I think, personally, Manchester's team is a better mid-game to early-game team. Obviously, Lux is okay in the late game, but Caitlyn and Renekton aren't as potent in terms of damage. Caitlyn has this weird grey area where she's either a good late-game carry or a not good late-game carry. In terms of damage, not so much, but in terms of positioning, which has become ever so more important in the recent league because of the amount of gap closey bruisers there are. Caitlyn is more of this easier late game carry to play because she has a good escape and she's got a massive range and she can kind of hit from the back.
One thing that actually interests me was the fact that the Zyra's taking Ignite, and that's going to really dictate what happens in that bot lane, because if the Sona can land a good exhaust on the Caitlyn when they're trying to engage, Ezreal's got the Caitlyn down low enough already, that Ignite isn't going to do enough versus an Ezreal who can jump away. Even with, like, I mean, I know Ignite reduces the heal from Sona, but there's still going to be a bit of sustain there. And
I
I
think,
think that Ezreal
yeah,
Sona might actually win that lane if the Ignite doesn't go down properly in a fight.
I think what they're going to be looking to do in that bot lane is try and get those clutch kills, and they're going to need the ignite to stop Sona healing Ezreal up.
Hmm.
Um, but it's gonna that's pushing it really really close in my opinion, and I think that the exhaust would have been better, especially against people like Syndra and Elise,
Yeah.
who thrive off high damaging spells. And obviously, exhaust doesn't just affect your AD; it also affects your ability power and how much damage you do
Hmm.
through your ability power based spells. So it'll be an interesting game. I think if that ignite works well for that bot lane on Manchester, then they'll do better coming into the mid game because they have this
Yeah.
big mid game team. They don't actually have many ultimates, bar the Stranglethorns of Zyra that work well with the Zac ultimate. I was hoping to see an Orianna because I love the Zac Orianna combo. I think that's absolutely wonderful seeing
Hmm.
Zac fly across the map and a shockwave coming out in the middle of the team fight.
Yeah.
Um, but Lux is good as well. I mean, if the Stranglethorns can knock up people in a line, Lux has a clear through for her ultimate, which is usually exactly what Lux wants. But Zac does bounce people out the way with with his ultimate. So if that is timed wrong, you can actually bounce people out of Lux's ultimate. But I mean, just having a look, and although solo queue elo isn't particularly, although solo queue elo isn't the best reflection of skill in the world, we have got a little bit of a disparity between Manchester and Cardiff. Obviously, Manchester's last season elos being slightly higher than Cardiff's this season elos, but I
Hmm.
think having looked at their history and their solo queue, they're a fairly even matchup here, and I think we're going for a good first game. And considering Cardiff is 16th seed, it could be a bit of an upset if it goes wrong. But we are running a double elimination this time, guys. So if you do lose, you will be going down into the lower bracket and can fight your way back to the winners final, which will be taking place tomorrow, probably later on in the evening. The casting starts at 7 p.m. as per usual.
Hmm.
Um, what are you expecting Manchester to do with their team composition? Are you expecting them to rotate, get a few ganks off, etc., etc.?
The thing with Manchester's team comp is they have a lot of damage coming out. I think I can see a lot going down in the bottom lane, really. I could see the Zac using his elastic slingshot just to be able to gank across the wall from near Tribush and from other places where Zyra may have put a pink ward. Caitlyn Zyra, Zyra has a lot of lockdown. She can keep people in one place, especially after 6 with the Stranglethorns. And Caitlyn acing the whole Piltover Peacemaker. Even her traps can do a lot in a small fight if they're placed out right. What's going to happen, I think, is Cardiff are going to push top lane quickly, get Jarvan in there, try and just get that tower down, and then roam with the Elise, who is really good at just jumping on an AD carry and sticking on them. And the Manchester are just going to have to try and counter that by taking their own tower, probably in bot lane, maybe in mid, and then just controlling Dragon and the objectives around there.
Yeah. Before we get started, guys, we're about to get into game. If you want to watch Sheffield versus ACOG, which is Aberystwyth, can't say it properly, that's over on www.twitch.tv/the 2, so just our address with a 2 after it, if you're interested in seeing Aberystwyth versus Sheffield. We're now into game. Are you expecting to see any level 1s come out here? I love level 1s. They're always very interesting, and it can either throw or win a game for you, depending on what you do.
I think there might be something coming out level 1. It'll be interesting to see, because there isn't a huge amount of CC coming out from Manchester at level 1. At least if she takes Cocoon first, yes, she's got some good CC. There's a lot of pings coming out here. It will be interesting just to see how things go. Sorry, I was just changing over the names of the teams in my OBS there. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It looks like Jarvan's going across towards his red buff. Red team is spreading out across their jungle, just covering the paths as much as they can. Caitlyn actually taking the riskier route of going straight down mid lane. There's a ward just going out there by Zyra up near their wraiths, and there's a ward there from it looks like from Syndra actually, warding just the bush near their blue buff. So it looks like they might try and invade red. Sona actually puts a ward in the river there. They know that people are there, Caitlyn's there, and they're pinging their bottom tri-bush just to try and create a bit more cover there and a bit more just safety, really.
Yeah, and this is a best of one, guys. It's going straight into the losers bracket for the winner, and the winner will be continuing in the winners bracket, so you don't get knocked out in the first game. There were some fervent pings coming down from Purple Team, looking to invade Jarvan's red straight off, but Blue pinged all across their river, trying to get it covered. So Jarvan's starting at his red. He obviously doesn't want that counter to come out if it did happen. He's going to obviously maybe move over to blue or try and counter Zac at his red, which can happen. Although Zac, got to be careful about counter invading as Zac. He has his passive cell division, which means it buys him a bit of time for his team to react and come and save him. And everyone knows that when you're jungling, those little seconds in the jungle are very, very crucial. We're not seeing any crazy lane swaps coming out, so we're seeing a good old 2v2 and a 1v1 from bot and top lane. And the mid lanes aren't doing anything crazy.
It actually looks like Ezreal and Sona are going to go up towards this top lane here. Maybe just go
really?
But I think they're going to try and just play against this Renekton and try and just keep him out of the game. At least does do very well in a 1v2 just because she's got the escape with her Repel and with her Spider form. She can get out quite quickly. But Renekton has Cull the Meek, which sort of heals him quite well as well.
Yeah, so just as I was saying, the no crazy antics coming out, they do the lane swap on me. Maybe Ezreal and certainly just didn't want to go up against that Zyra Caitlyn combo, which is very long range and very potent. Like you said, Elise has got her skittering spiderlings in her spider form to heal her up. She gets percentage, a little bit of health every time their spiderlings attack, and that goes up with your AP. So she's got that sustain, and it's a little bit more potent than Renekton's just because it can happen whenever you go into spider form. Though she's getting caught pretty early, get a little bit of poke going down. Personally, I'm not a big fan of these 2v1 lanes. I think it doesn't provide much for action unless you're getting some good tower dives going on. But Zac is coming into this top lane for a gank.
It'd be interesting to see what he does here. He has got his elastic slingshot. It's only level 1, so he might try and go in for a gank here. Here comes the elastic slingshot. It's going to come out. He's going. Oh, there's actually a gank in the mid lane. Lux is going very low. Sona's going very low in the top lane. Lots of damage coming out from Slice and Dice. Ignite comes down. There's the flash from Zac. Is she going to be taken down by this Ignite? No, looks like she's going to be able just to survive it. But Renekton flashes in and culls the Meek to get the kill. Lux just escaped. Renekton's going to go down to tower. Is that worth it? A kill on the Ezreal for a kill on the Sona?
Well, actually, I don't know if Renekton could have survived that. He stopped to place what is it called, reckless predator or a ruthless predator onto Ezreal to try and stun him, but he actually ended up taking a little bit more turret damage there. I think he may have badly calculated as to where the tower range was. Also, that gank on mid on Lux, I wanted to call this a little bit earlier. She looked like she'd DC'd because she was just standing there for a little bit, and Jarvan jumped in. I thought she was baiting for a second, but then I realised Zac was in top lane. So it looked like Lux maybe had a bit of connection problems, but Zac is coming to the mid lane now.
Looks like he's going to try and get this gank in. The elastic slingshot can be primed and he's going to be able to get in, but Jarvan's actually coming into bot lane as well. Syndra is quite far back for this gank, so it looks like Zac's just going to back away. Jarvan's backing away from bot lane as well.
Syndra did have a ward there, so she may have seen Zac just walk into that thing, but Zac's coming in.
Zac's coming in, that's the slingshot, hits on the Syndra, he hasn't got flash, Syndra uses flash to get away, uses a nice... Jarvan actually flashing in, Demacian standard, there's going to be enough damage on Zac. Zac goes into his blob form, are they going to be able to get him down? Syndra might get taken down, she gets too close. Lots of damage coming out here, there's the light binder, but it looks like Syndra's going to be able to get the kill. It might be re-engaged on this Lux, Demacian standard comes out, but he hasn't got the Dragon Strike. Lots of damage from the orbs, is she going to be enough? One auto attack gets the kill there!
Wow. And that Syndra played it perfectly, and Jarvan knew exactly when to counter gank right there. He'd realised that Zac had blown his flash in top lane on that tower dive. He came in, knocked Zac up, put his cell division down, so Zac no longer has his passive, and well, Syndra is a big AoE damaging in a short area, so she's got a small AoE, but it's a big damage. And when Zac's blobs were getting closer and closer together, just one of these orbs would just take out the lot, and that's turbo kill onto Syndra, and I think that's going to spell trouble for Lux. But that was a little bit messy from Manchester right there.
I think the Lux just stayed around a bit too long, really. Like, Zac went into blob form, they should have just backed out. He didn't have flash, he wasn't going to get away. The Lux could get away, and I mean, she just didn't need to be there.
Yeah, she stuck around a little bit too long. I don't know whether she was aiming to save Zac using a light binding, but she didn't quite pull it off and ended up putting herself under the gun as well, which is not good for that lane, because now Syndra, picking up that Chalice of Harmony, she also has about a 1k gold advantage on this Lux right now. Sorry, about 500 gold advantage on this Lux right now, and that's only going to snowball further. She's got the XP advantage as well. If she hits 6 before Lux, she could be looking to go really hard, take another kill on her, and ended up putting herself way ahead. But we do have Zac just wandering around in Jarvan's jungle right now.
And they've got good ward coverage, so he can basically go where he wants at the moment. They knew that Jarvan was there because he'd stepped in the Caitlyn trap. Zac's coming towards mid lane, but it looks like he's just going to walk through the lane and go over to collect his Vegas.
Yeah, and we have a lane swap coming back now. Obviously, the 2v1 at top wasn't going as they wanted, but the CS between the Ezreal and the Caitlyn is fairly even, and Ezreal picking up the start of that Spirit of the Lizard Elder, looking like he is going to follow through with that blue build that is so popular. They might get here in time just to save the turret. It's pretty low, but Sona just coming out and poking Caitlyn away. Turret is very low though, and this could spell trouble if they get it down, but it looks like they're just backing off.
I think the big thing isn't the CS between the Caitlyn and the Ezreal, it's the CS between the Renekton and the Elise. Renekton's 14 CS ahead, he's got a kill. I don't feel good for Elise in that lane anymore, she's going to struggle, I think.
Interesting build coming up from the Renekton right now. He's built 2 items that are the ingredients for Guardian Angel. These are the new ingredients for Guardian Angel, a chain vest and a Negatron cloak. Could we be seeing a sort of Darien-esque Guardian Angel first build coming out from this Renekton?
They do also build into Spectre's Cowl and Sunfire Cape separately, so it might be that he just said, I want some armor, I want some magic. There's actually Engage coming in bot lane. Zyra getting this Ezreal very low, but he's going to be able to Arcane Shift away. Yeah, he might just be saying, I want a bit of armor, I want a bit of magic resist because I'm going against Sona Ezreal at the moment. I'll get these two and then I can build them into their items later on.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad tactic from him, but I'd be interesting. I think a Guardian Angel could serve him pretty well fairly early on. I mean, he's going to have this big presence in team fights because the Zac is a little bit behind. If he's looking to go tanky really early on, then he's going to be doing well with the Guardian Angel, because I don't think many people will be burning him down that quickly, and he'll come back with a fair amount of health for his level. Zac just taking his own red buff, obviously no one trying to counter on the spawns. Jarvan just going over to take his blue and giving over to Syndra, but Zac is coming into the top lane, looking to get a gank on this Elise.
Zac's going to use the Elastic Sling, so I'm not sure if he's in range. Actually, Slice and Dice comes out, there comes the Ruthless Predator, lots of damage coming down, extra slice there, but not enough damage on this Elise. She did quite well to get out of that.
Yeah, all slice but no dice right there from Renekton. Bot lane just gone back. Ezreal finished that Spirit of the Lizard Elder.
Lux just missing the blue buff there with her final spark, and it looks like Renekton's actually engaging in bottom lane. Lots of damage went down. At least uses those volatile spiralings just to get a bit of extra damage down. Is the Cocoon going to come out here? No, just an auto attack there from Elise.
Yeah, I think she may have a bit of goosebumps with Zac hiding around the top lane, trying to get this gank off. He's really keen to try and get this Elise down, trying to put that Renekton a little bit further ahead. She's still about 20 CS up. Apologies if you experience any lag on stream, by the way. I've just been notified that there's a little bit of lag on stream. We'll try and sort it out afterwards. And we just had a Syndra blow her ultimate in middle on the Lux. She went down to about 10% HP. Jarvan came in as well. Jarvan did use Cataclysm, but Lux flashed out of it. She has survived another day. Jarvan looking like he's going to go back, not actually going to head down to bottom. We'll try and get that lag sorted out for you guys. It may just be a problem at our end. We'll try and do it. Try and sort it out. I mean, so we'll just keep going with the stream. We've got Zac coming into top lane, Elastic Slingshot being charged up.
Is this a slice? Is a slice? Is it going to be a dice? Let's Bounce comes out as well. Ignite it down here on the Elise. Let's Bounce is going to get the damage, and Renekton just manages to get that kill.
Yeah, good sort of persistence from the Zac right there, and sometimes that's what you need to do. Sometimes, guys, if you're wondering about why 720p is the only option, you actually have to be a partner with Twitch to be able to, I think, get any lower qualities. We'll check it out.
We can try and sort it out after the game, yeah.
Yeah, we'll let this game go on, guys, and we'll try and sort it out afterwards. Apologies if you're getting a bit of lag right now.
The next one actually diving this Jarvan here. Lots of damage coming out. There's a Zac there as well. Use the Elastic Slingshot slice out of tower range there. Zac's going to take a couple of tower shots, and Renekton's in a very bad position here. Demacian standing, Dragon Strike, lots of damage coming down. He has got that Dominus on. He might be able to take this Jarvan down now. Jarvan backs out and he backs out as well. It looks like Renekton is just going to wait around and see if he can get that kill.
Yeah, Lux looks like she's moving up towards the top lane, trying to finish off this Jarvan, but Elise is coming back now. I think they know they've left it too long. I think this Renekton's just going to back off and take his advantage. Interesting to see what he does with his items now, whether he is going to build into that Guardian Angel or not, or whether he builds a Spectre's Cow. And bot lane just sort of poking at each other. CS is very, very even between the two. Caitlyn looking like she's going for that Bloodthirster, maybe Infinity Edge, whereas Ezreal just running on with his blue Ezreal build. Syndra hitting a stun onto middle, she throws her orb onto Lux, getting a slow, but Lux had a shield up, so there's not much damage going down between the two.
There's a flash here in by the Zyra, lots of damage going down Sona. There come the Stranglethorns, and Sona uses Crescendo, but she was dead miles before she used that, didn't need to.
Yeah, and that was a brilliant play, and that's what I think Zyra is so effective for in bot lane. She's just really, really good at getting that Stranglethorns off, and Sona being an inherently slow character, she's not going to be able to escape, and Sona not having picked up tier 2 boots either is going to be fairly slow as well. Ezreal actually counters the Zyra Stranglethorns pretty well. Arcane Shift, very, very good at getting out of high CC abilities. They still haven't fixed the thing where you can get CC'd and chain your Arcane Shift afterwards, so you actually get CC'd while so you can actually Arcane Shift while you're CC'd and actually sneakily get your way out of most forms of CC, like the Blitz Grab, etc. Other than this, the gold's looking pretty even between the two. Manchester are about 800 up, but that's because they're farming a little bit better in a couple of the lanes, mainly the Renekton lane. He's about 20 CS up, and they have the turret in their favour. Interesting to see when a Dragon's going to come on the card. Sona has just warded it with 3-minute ward. It has just gone down. Zyra running around. She doesn't have a pink, so she won't be able to take the ward away.
It's interesting to see what's happening, because it was sort of Cardiff took an early lead, Manchester have slowly farmed their way back up to it and got those couple of kills and got the tower, but I'm not sure what Caitlyn and Zyra are going to do now. Like, they're sort of, do we stay in bot lane, do we go to top lane, what sort of thing do we actually want to do as a team now?
Yeah, and to be honest,
oh, actually, Ace in the hole coming in here on Ezreal, lots of damage going down, but he's just healed back up from it.
The Jarvan has built mobility boots first, so he hasn't gone for that tanky spirit of the ancient golem, whereas Zac has got a giant spell, a ruby crystal, the Renekton's got a Spectre's Cowl, like you said, and building his chain vest up probably towards that Sunfire Cape. No one on the Cardiff side has got a front line right now. Jarvan hasn't finished up his spirit and ancient golem, so it's going to be interesting if they force a team fight around Dragon soon. The big front line of Manchester probably going to hold out well for them, because tanks do really, really well in mid game when there's low damage on the board, and there's no snowball having come on. We realise we're dropping frames, guys. We'll try and get it sorted out for you in the next game. We can't do it mid game right now. Looks like there's trying to be a gank bot lane.
Lots of damage going down, but Stranglethorns just keeps everyone away. I'm not sure that actually needed to be used. Jarvan might have got in with his Cataclysm, but he'd already used the Dragon Strike Demacian standard combination, so...
Yeah, he didn't actually follow up his Demacian standard, so he couldn't get a proper gank off there, whether he just mishit it or just intended to not want to go for the gank.
Sona, she's got caught, she has to flash away, and that's another flash burned in the spot lane.
Yeah, and also notice that the mid lanes seem to just be mirroring each other's builds. So there's Athene's come out on Syndra and an Athene's come out onto Lux. That's two Athenes on the board. Very popular item for those that like cooldown for their spells. Manchester just doing a bit of damage, but actually taking a bit of an uneven trade. Probably taking more damage than they wanted to right there.
Oh, Crescendo coming out here on the Caitlyn. Lots of damage going down there from True Shot Barrage. She uses barrier. This is going to be enough barrier out from Ezreal. It looks like the Caitlyn might go down, but she gets taken down at the same time. That was really nicely done by the Zyra and Caitlyn there to get that kill. Yeah,
Zyra obviously only supports with a deceptive amount of damage. She's leveling her grasping roots, and she did manage to hit the Ezreal, so the damage from that come out. Some Zyras actually level their Q, which is the Deadly Bloom, because that does a deceptive amount of damage in lane and can get a really good poke out. But it looks like that top tower is going down for Manchester, just to boost their global gold advantage to about 2k.
That gold advantage is really going to help them. I could see them just pushing out this lane and then gathering around Dragon. They've got the gold, they've got the advantage in levels as well, and they should just be able to just push that and try and take that.
Yeah, and Caitlyn is going to have a decidedly big advantage over the Ezreal right now. She's got her Infinity Edge, which is extremely potent, because obviously the crits will be doing a
Jarvan
massive
actually coming
amount
in
of
here
damage.
mid lane. Is he going to be able to get on this Lux? Lux gets stunned there by the Cinder. Lots of damage coming down. There come the orbs and huge amounts of damage. Ignite gets. Oh, Jarvan actually got the kill there with his Cataclysm.
Yeah, I think the Lux was just a little bit late on her flash, and Cataclysm actually hit. So he hit the Cataclysm as Lux flashed, which actually the damage was then transferred. That's 2 deaths for Lux in the mid lane. She's not having a great time.
Caitlyn actually getting engaged upon. Cinder uses it. Caitlyn has to flash away. Just lots of damage going down there really quickly.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, both junglers doing well for their teams right now. Jarvan having participated in 3 kills, and Zac having participated in 2. I think Zac's really been camping that Renekton top lane. He wants that beefy front line. It looks like Cardiff are gearing up for the Dragon though.
Yeah, I mean, I said it was going to be Manchester, it's actually Cardiff, so we'll see if they can take this. Zac was top lane, and they saw that, so Syndra actually gets the kill. Smite has gone down. Oh no, Smite wasn't even up. That was a very risky dragon.
Yeah, but no one was about to try and counter the Dragon for Manchester. They had no big burst damage. Caitlyn may have got it with a Q, or Zyra may have got it with a Stroke of Luck Q as well, her Deadly Bloom. But there was no Lux around with a no ultimate up to try and take it off them, and Elise just coming into the mid lane to try and cause a bit of havoc on this, like try and put her a little bit further behind than she already is.
Yeah, Lux warded the bush that Elise was trying to hide in as Elise was trying to hide in it, so she got caught out a little bit there.
Yeah. Apologies again, guys. You know, we're dropping a couple of frames. We can't really do anything about it mid-game. We'll try and get it sorted out for you afterwards. So yeah, top lane just really in favour of Manchester right now. But overall, I think game swinging into Cardiff's favour. They've clawed back that 2k.
Zac's actually coming over for a gank here bot lane. Is he going to be able to get this elastic slingshot off? Looks like he is, yeah. Hits the Sona, lots of damage going down on the Sona, but the Caitlyn and Zyra are quite far away. Zac actually flashes into the next bounce. Sona's going to get very low here, as is Ezreal. Zyra flashes in there, gets the thorns off, and that's lost. Oh, Zyra takes another kill there with the Deadly Bloom. Lux getting engaged upon mid lane, hits the light binding on the Syndra, and the Demacian standard there gets the kill for Jarvan.
Yeah, we may try and lower the settings for you in game, guys. It could just be that we're having a bit of a drop frames. Just try and do that if you can. Yep. Sona. Yeah, so we're just looking at really Manchester trying to claw back these ganks, trying to push out that bot lane where I think they are winning ever so slightly, even though Ezreal has the 2 kills. That Caitlyn has got the big auto attack damage, which is the Infinity Edge. Sona having died a couple of times as well. Zyra will actually be a fairly formidable AP mid-game presence, because she actually does quite a lot of damage without too many items. So she's going to be doing all right. I think what Manchester really need to do here is just group up again and start forcing these team fights, because this is where they're going to be stronger than Cardiff right now. Cardiff have not really got any tanks to try and front up their front line, and the longer they leave this game, the longer that Elise and Syndra are going to be going into their heavy damage mode. Ezreal actually picking up a Sheen and then picking up a Bilgewater Cutlass, so he didn't actually want to finish up that Frozen Fist just yet. He's going to build into Blade of the Rune King, which is going to make him very, very strong versus these high health targets like Zac and Renekton. Zyra just picking up Sorcerer's Boots, so the magic penetration coming out magic penetration coming out from Zyra will be really, really potent for Manchester. Zac, having got that giant spell, probably going to build it into a Sunfire Cape like a lot of Zacs do, because obviously they hang around in the middle of the fight quite a lot. Jarvan heading towards that Aegis. He has just picked up his Spirit in the Ancient Golem, so he will be getting a little bit tankier now. Sona does have the second upgrade of the Sightstone, which is the Ruby Sightstone, so she's going to be fairly tanky as well. Elise, she's got that Haunting Guise.
Looks like Engage coming down in mid lane, but they're backing off straight away. Interesting ping there, a back ping on the red buff. Ezreal might go a bit low. Sona actually gets caught there, trying to protect with Ezreal. Stranglethorns comes down, Sona flashes away. Crescendo misses entirely. There comes the True Shot Barrage, but it's not going to be enough damage, and that Crescendo cost her life.
Yeah, I think Sona was caught there either way. She should have saved that Crescendo. Saved that Crescendo for a team fight that could have possibly taken place in the next few minutes. Zyra picking up the kill there again, and not giving much over to Caitlyn here. I'm sure the AD carry is getting very, very angry that she's not getting these last hits. But a Fed support Zyra is not the last time. Is not the worst thing in the world. Jarvan trying to pop in to get Ace in the hole covered for Ezreal, but just missing it. Zac looking to make an engage.
It looks like the elastic slingshot might come out. I think it's more of a bait. But Renekton's coming around the back here with Lux.
This is
Light
a
binding
5
hits there. Damascene Strike comes out. Lots of damage coming out here on the Lux. Elastic slingshot's going to come across here. Hits into no one. Renekton's engaging on the Ezreal. Ezreal's got Ignite. He uses his barrier, so a heal might keep him alive. Renekton getting trapped there by the Cataclysm, and that dive has actually turned into Cardiff's favour.
Yeah, I don't think Manchester fully committed right there. They wanted to get a 5-man dive, but weren't expecting 5 men from Cardiff to turn up. And we look like we've got a bit more action going on.
Yeah, Lux is just using her Light Binding and Lucent Singularity there just to do a little bit of damage to the Jarvan. Jarvan was going in for the engage, but I think he thought better of it when he realised how much damage he was actually under there.
Yeah, and really, really good play from Cardiff. Just to know. Oh, look, they're trying to get
stuck. Actually engaging in on the Caitlyn. Elise is going to jump over the wall with that repel. Lots of damage. The barrier goes down quite early there. There comes the Ignite. There comes the final spark out of Lux. This is going to be enough damage on this Elise. Elise uses the Cocoon really nicely on the Zyra, but only hits Zyra. Lots of damage coming out onto Sona again. She got caught there by the Light Binding from Lux. Elastic Slingshot across the wall. He gets ignited. This is going to be enough damage. He's got his blob form. He's got his passive up. He's going to be able to passive out of it. Ez is going to tank that ace in the hole there for the Syndra. Zac is going to be revived there from his passive, and it looks like they might actually be able to take down this tower after that.
Yeah, actually, oddly enough, that entire period of play did just work out in Manchester's favour. Manchester seemed a bit fragmented with their team play right there, though. They had Zac throw himself so far into the fray, but most of Manchester were lagging behind. So if they'd caught up a little bit, that could have been a couple of kills going towards Manchester. Lux just burning
nice
her
final
ultimate.
spark there, but not actually managing to hit anyone with it. Ezreal was very low. He's going to have to go back.
Yeah, Ezreal is making escapes of the century right now, always escaping on such low HP. I think his luck may run out sooner or later, Sona. But Manchester's trying to defend this mid lane. They haven't actually lost a turret yet, and this is working heavily in their favour. But if you look at it from the other standpoint, Cardiff haven't taken a turret, but they're still only about 1.5k gold behind. When they start taking the
they're going
turrets,
to try and take the second dragon of the game here. There's no vision on it from the Manchester team, so it should be quite easy for them to take. Jarvan and Elise are just going to melt it down. Damascene Standard comes out just for that extra attack speed, and they get it. So that's the second dragon of the game for them. And
yeah,
so
so
even on gold, pretty much. Oh, Syndra actually using her ultimate mid lane, not managing to get enough damage on the Lux. The shield there from Lux actually saving her life.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of a disparity now because Manchester have 2 turrets in their favour, 2 outer turrets taken for them. In fact, three turrets because they have the inner turret on the bot lane. Once Cardiff start changing it and start pushing towards their turrets, they're going to get a good 3k gold for their team in favour, which really is going to push them way into the lead here. If they can take those outer turrets, they'll have a strong team fight coming into the mid game of sort of 25 to 35 minutes, and then really everything from then on is in their favour because their team fight composition just and their team in general just suits the late game better, with Syndra obviously getting better with items and Elise getting better with items. That percentage damage really, really potent with high AP items. Elise actually looking to build tanky. Like we saw, this was a bit of a flavour of the month when Elise hadn't been nerfed so much, but you still do see it these days. Elise building magic penetration and then just going full tank, so sort of building that Sunfire cape for the magic damage, which does benefit from magic penetration as well. And Jarvan going to the mid lane.
Lux gets light binding, isn't going to be able to do anything there. It's interesting because he sort of Damascene Standard got close and then just ran at her.
Yeah,
just run at her for a little bit.
He had Cataclysm up, but I'm thinking he wasn't too sure if she had Flash up, and that would have been a wasted Cataclysm if she had Flash because no one was close enough to sort of follow her up. And Flash is obviously just an easy counter to that Cataclysm. Looks like there's just a bit of a standoff mid lane.
Caitlyn actually gets blue buff there because the Lux wasn't able to hit it with her light binding. That's going to be really annoying for Lux.
Yeah, and they're still having trouble taking this last minion. They really don't want that minion to stay up because they won't be able to time their buff properly.
Mace the whole across there, just a bit of poke really. Lots of Caitlyn's do it just for the extra poke that you can get out of it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's really working in favour of Manchester just at the moment, just because they've got that presence in that mid lane. They've got 5 people there. Renekton's going to follow up. If they can get there and get the engage before Ezreal turns up, that'll be really, really
here comes the engage. Cataclysm there, out of the job, and lots of damage going down. It's a nice strangling roots there, and the ultimate there. Nice crescendo there onto the Caitlyn and to the Zyra. Let's Bounce comes in. They're going to be under towers. There's going to be enough damage here from the Cardiff team. It doesn't look like it. Ezreal trying to come in from the side, but Renekton's joined the fight now. And Ezreal's just going to go and farm rates? He's very indecisive, running back.
Yeah, I think indecisive is the word of choice for these teams right now. They're making sort of big engages, but no one is following up. Every team just too scared to really take that plunge into a team fight. Zach's just going really ham, but his team just are not following him up at all. So he's just hitting there, bouncing around, smashing the Cardiff team around, but there's no damage from his team to follow it up. Caitlin's way in the back, and so is Lux and Zara. None of them have managed to get any of their skills really off onto the team. And actually, Cardiff are looking the healthier of the two right now, with only Renekton to defend this mid turret and 4 of their members looking to push it out.
There comes the final spark there, and the ace in the hole, lots of damage going down. Jarvan actually managed to tank that ace in the hole for his Syndra, but Sona getting hit with every skill. She must be hungry because she's eating every skill shot that the other team fire out at the moment.
Yeah, and she's 0-5 right now, so a bit like Sona. Your name's Sona, but like your Sona, she's feeding quite a lot right now, just like I know your play.
Yeah, well, obviously.
So yeah, but end of the day, Sonas can feed as long as they don't feed too much, because really a lot of people take Sona just for that big ultimate, because it can be like a team fight changer. It's you know, a good 1.5 second stun and you know. Stuns are a lot different to snares. If you don't know, snares in League of Legends allow you to cast spells and auto attack still, but you can't move. Stuns are obviously the complete stun, so you can't do anything during that time. A lot of people say a Mumu stun, but it's actually an Amumu snare. So Amumu actually snares the entire team and keeps them in place, but he doesn't actually stun them, as far as I'm aware. Ezreal, having finished that Frozen Fist, hasn't actually opted to finish that Bilgewater Cutlass into the Blade of the Ring King yet. He's got his cooldown boots, really moving towards his full blue Ezreal build. But I'd say that a full blue Ezreal build is less potent in a team fight than a full build auto attack damage. A full auto attack damage build Caitlyn, even though Caitlyn doesn't quite scale as well into the late game in terms of base stats.
It looks like Manchester might try and just get this turret in mid lane, then could engage off this. Nightbiting hits Sona again, with the Lucent Singularity coming across as well. You're not living up to your namesake here, Sona. You're not living up to your namesake.
No, and these teams really are focusing in the last 5 minutes on these mid turrets. They can be really important for Dragons and Barons control. So Dragon and Baron control is really important. Having that mid turret, you can ward it up and then move in and out of the brushes behind, just to set up. Looks like
Cardiff actually gets take this, because Caitlyn had to go bot lane to defend her turret. That was really good, because Ezreal had actually pushed the turret around 2 minutes before that, and now Caitlyn had to go across and defend it.
Yeah, and that's just a simple sort of...
Looks like engagement will come out here from Jarvan actually. Sona is nowhere near this team fight. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens. Ezreal right in the middle of it. Let's Bounce comes out, elastic slingshot. The next one gets the Ruthless Predator down and gets tons of damage. Zyra gets the kill on Ezreal because it's Zyra. And Zyra gets the kill on Jarvan as well. I don't know how it was an ace in the hole, but Zyra got it.
Zyra actually had the ignite put onto Jarvan right there. The ace and hole came out, burnt him to about 10 HP, and one tick of the ignite just finished him off. This Zyra going 5-0-2, I don't know why she isn't building AP, and she looks like she is actually looking like she's building towards that Haunting Guys on Cardiff. They're going to have to watch out. They're going to be dealing with 2 AP carries sooner or later.
That's the best thing to do when you're fed as a support. You might as well build some damage, or build an Aegis, or build just something really quickly that the rest of your team isn't going to provide. Yeah,
with a Renekton and a Zac on the team of Manchester, there's not much point in Zyra building tank, because then they'll just have too many tanks. 2 APs is going to be hell for Cardiff to deal with it right here, and that Dragon and that turret has just put Manchester another 2k gold in the lead. So we've had the gold lead stretching from about even to about 2k in terms of Manchester. Not really sort of going out to the 10Ks you'd expect to see between sort of amateur tournaments at this level. So really close game between these two sides right now. Neither of them wanting to push too far right now. So it'll be really fun to see if the Baron comes out soon, because when you get towards the 30 to 40 minute marks, that's where these big team fights tend to happen. But with the teams playing as passively and as sort of, I'd say, scared as they are, I'm not sure we're going to be seeing too many crazy things like a Baron fight going on too early in the game. I think this is going to be you'll be seeing one of these safe Barons where they sort of pick off a few members and end up going to take the Baron afterwards.
And everyone's just taking their buffs at the moment. It'll be we haven't seen a 5-on-5 engage yet. Sona wasn't there for the last fight. That was the closest we've had, and 2 people died from that. Yeah, Jarvan was probably out of position. That's why he died, and the Ezreal was just in the middle of like 3 tanks, and that's why he died. Be interesting to see if we have a full 5-on-5 engage, which team wins.
Yeah, and to be honest, both teams are looking strong right now in terms of
Looks
items.
like Zyra and the next one actually going to close in on this Elise. Elise has to flash away. She's bought that Oracles, and she was just trying to de-ward Dragon, but she's had to flash because the Zyra is coming across with those that binding that she has, just trying to get the kill on her.
Yeah, and I'll be honest right now, I think Manchester would have this in a team fight. They've got a bit more of a tanky front line, and they've got a Zyra who's actually doing a lot of damage right now. She has just been stuck. She's actually leveled up her W second. She's got the cooldown reduction, so she isn't actually going to be doing massive
Sona
damage.
getting caught out, getting lots of damage coming down there. I think a couple of auto attacks between spells there might have killed her, but the Lux just tried to burst her down.
Sona did have a good amount of protection from her team right there, though, so it may have been slightly hard. But they are looking like the top inner turret. Sorry.
Because Ezreal was in bottom lane getting a turret
Ezreal was actually, and there was actually an engage taking.
Oh, here comes Zyra. Nice flash into Stranglethorns. It's going to be enough damage. Jarvan gets hit there. Sona's going very low again. Sona gets taken out by the light binding. They're going to back off with the Let's Bounce, and that's another kill for them. It's another death on Sona, and she's just not having a good game today.
No, Sona has been the punching bag of Manchester all game. She's really been giving up those kills fairly easily, in my opinion. She's sort of staying at the front line. Oh, another
lots
Spinal
of damage
Spark
coming
coming
down
up.
onto Syndra and Elise, but they're not quite as squishy as Sona is.
Yeah, and Sona didn't actually burn flash that last engage, so she's actually still got it up. Maybe she just wasn't quick enough, or maybe she was too stunned or something, you know. But she does have it up. I mean, she could go into a flash crescendo. That'd be nice to see, you know, at least do something useful for her team right now. But she is actually giving up a lot of free kills, and they're not just going to Zyra now. Lux picking up that last one. That's her first kill of the game. Zyra has Caitlyn has 2 kills. So it's going to be hard now if the kills are actually going on to the carries for Manchester, for Cardiff to win out this mid game, because actually Manchester have the better mid game team fighting team right now. They're still only about 2k gold ahead. That's almost nothing really in the grand scheme of things. So team fights are even right now, and they will be even until something decided, you know, a big sort of deciding team fight takes place, and probably around Baron. But Sona just walking past that purple ward, she has oracles.
Yeah. One thing I find strange actually is that she's bought oracles when Elise already has oracles on her team. It feels like a bit of a waste of 500 gold to me.
Yeah, and Elise actually has about 2.5 minutes on that oracles left. Yeah. Was a bit of an odd buy from the Sona. Maybe she's getting a bit flustered. She's been killed quite a lot in this game. I actually been noticed that now the Lux from Manchester has actually been hitting some good final sparks. Beforehand, I was a bit dubious as to whether her final sparks were used in the best situation. If you remember that team fight,
lots of damage coming out here onto the east. Cocoon comes out onto Lux. Looks like she's actually going to engage from this. Syndra and Sona in the back line, but here comes final spike. Sona's down to such low health. Caitlyn's going to come in the next and actually diving on this Ezreal in top lane, but Caitlyn backs away. I think she might have been able to get the kill there on the Sona, but it was a bit dangerous.
It was, yeah, there wasn't much tanky front line to be able to front up with Manchester right there. It was just
if Sona gets anywhere near this bush, she's going to die. Lux just not throwing out the skills there. She could have caught Sona and got the kill.
Yeah, I mean, that was a brilliant final spark from Lux, that last team fight, hitting 3 people but not quite securing a kill from any of them. Previously, she'd been using her final spark to hit the one sort of tanky target. I don't know if you remember that engage around Dragon when she was cataclysmed. She only hit the Jarvan, and that actually did almost 0 damage. Jarvan, having built that locket, getting that aura of not as much magic resist as you used to get from Runic Bulwark, but still a bit of magic resist. It's going to be taking a little bit less damage than he would have been from the final spark. Renekton pushing a little bit far in, getting a little bit of poke on him, but he's actually quite tanky right now. He has picked up that Black Cleaver as well, so he is actually going to be doing a fair amount of damage.
I mean, this might be the... Oh, Sona getting caught out again. Final spot. She's dead. She just melts there to the final spot. Here comes Elastic Slingshot. He's not going to go in on it. It's all about ults at the moment. Everyone has their ults up, apart from Ace in the Hole and Final Spark and the True Shot barrage there from Ezreal. So it'll be interesting to see if they decide to take this engage, because Renekton is just hanging around the back, looking to see what he can do in this back line. He's going to get pushed away by the Elise, but I could see an engage coming up here.
Yeah, Sona up in 20 seconds. She's got quite a long death timer. It is getting quite late into the game. If they can take this 20 seconds and put it to their advantage, Manchester will really take a chokehold in this game. And to be honest, at this point in the game when the death timers are so long,
Oh,
really...
lots of damage coming out here from Syndra. She might get the kill, but Caitlyn gets away from that. Lux manages to get a kill there on Syndra. Here comes Jarvan coming in, trying to get onto this Caitlyn, but he's going to go down to that headshot. Ace in the hole coming out on Ezreal. Is it going to be enough damage? Here comes Final Spark. Misses as well. At least it's going really low. The Nexon taking off Jarvan to the side. Nice jump in there by Zach, getting the kill on Elise.
Yeah, and that was exactly what they needed to do. They're taking advantage of the death timer on Sona. Death times are really long right now. There's 40 seconds on all of them. This could be an inhibitor if they push really, really hard, and I think it will be an inhibitor going to Manchester. They'll start to take a chokehold now, and I wouldn't be surprised if they take this inhibitor and then back off for a Baron. They still have their top turret intact. Their Renekton doing a really good job of sort of protecting his lane. I think Manchester are just going to back off now. Ezreal poking them a little bit, but he's not really following up. Manchester will probably back off and take a Baron here if they can push that top lane out, cause a bit of trouble for the top lane. They've got that inhibitor down now, so bot lane is pushing. It's going to push even harder. They're going to take this dragon as well. They're going to head off into about a 5 to 6k gold advantage. It's going to be crucial at this point in the game because Syndra's got 3 major items right now. She's got that voice staff, she's got the Rabadon, she's got the Athenes. She's going to be really, really hurting. You leave her any longer, she'll be able to one-shot Caitlyn with just one ultimate. So yeah, I mean, I think Cardiff are aware of that. They're starting to ward up Baron. They know that it could be a possibility. And I think they're going to have to gear up to try and... oh god, and Renekton nearly getting caught by the Elise at bot lane. Just getting away. I think they're going to gear up to try and defend this Baron, because if they lose this Baron, I think they've lost the game.
I think the big thing that's happening at the moment is it just seems like Manchester are a bit more organised in team fights. They know just instinctively what their teammates are going to do, and I think Cardiff are just erring a little bit. They're just wondering. Stranglethorn's actually coming down here on Ezreal. Ezreal trading with Zyra, getting that final spark, almost going down. That trade with Zyra, Zyra got around 100 damage done to her. Ezreal had 3/4 of his health.
Yeah, and Zyra's actually got Leandri's right now, so her plants and all of her skills are going to be hitting pretty hard. And that's the problem when you feed a Zyra. Even when it's support, she can probably 1v1 most sort of squishies on your team. And with that Leandri's probably 1v1 quite a lot of the tanks as well. You know, she's got high base damage on her abilities. She doesn't need too many items to make her really sort of a big, you know, she doesn't need many items to make her a big threat. So even though all the kills went to support for Manchester, it's actually worked out quite well for them. If your support can easily 1v1 their AD carry, you know that something's going wrong. Actually, Zara's picked up an Oracles, and they are looking like they're going to clear out for this Baron. I think Cardiff are aware that they're there, but they're right, they have no wards. And Jarvan looking to make a oh, and Zyra almost getting caught.
Might be interesting if he tries to go in for the engage. Yeah, he's there. He's got caught there by the Zac and the Zyra. Lux coming around the side, light binding into the final spot. Lots of damage coming out. One auto attack's going to get that kill. Here comes the Let's Bounce onto the Sona. Sona's going to get taken very low there. Nice thorn there by Zyra. Sona tries to flash away. Nice crescendo, but not really doing a huge amount. It looks like they might be able to finish out the game here. 5v3. 3-0 engage there by Manchester. They're going to go towards this top lane and try and take this inhibitor. So
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
The problem was there was just no ward coverage on Baron. Cardiff were aware.
Oh, Zac actually engaging here on the Syndra. Syndra's dead. She just melts. Caitlyn does huge amounts of damage with that Infinity Edge and Triforce and the Last Whisper as well. And they're going to get this inhibitor, they're going to get the next turrets, and they're going to win.
Yeah, and the problem was there that they had no ward coverage on Baron. I think Cardiff were aware that Baron
Ezreal almost getting taken down. Zac actually using Elastic Slingshot to get the kill. These are just like clean-up kills right now. Manchester are going to finish off the game. They're going to get into the next round of this tournament, and it looks like they might be on their street. At least actually doing very well to get the kill on it, Lux, but Renekton and Zac are just targeting down this Nexus, and there it goes.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's the closest game I've ever seen Manchester have to play across our 2 tournaments. Manchester did play some close games against ACOG, but I actually don't think they're as close as this. There was never anything going out to sort of the 40 to 50 minute mark, and I think Cardiff are going to do well in the losers brackets. I don't think it's the last we're going to see of them. Like I said, the reason that winning team fight took place was Zyra picked up that Oracles, cleared out all the wards, and then they moved round to try and catch, and they didn't try and catch in the normal way by just sitting in Baron Pit or sitting in the brushes nearby. They actually walked around Blue Buff, which also had no ward coverage. Jarvan went to check with his Demacian standard that he had no knock-up. Zyra caught him, Lux caught him, and he took a chunk of damage. That's their only tank on their team. They had the Elise, but she's not inherently tanky. She's not like a Jarvan who will get big base stats.
Yeah.
And they just caught out everyone and just picked them off one by one in that team fight. And then Manchester just pushed through for the win. They already had that inhibitor down, and their minions were pushing top lane. They just took that top turret and then took the two Nexus turrets and won. And to be honest, good game Manchester, because actually Cardiff did really, really sort of push them to their limits early game. And I actually thought Cardiff were going to run away with it at some point, but Manchester looking good, coming back with that big support Zyra. You don't often give MVPs to a support, but I think this time around we're going to have to give MVP to the Zyra. She really, really pushed, really, really did well, considering that she took all the kills in bot lane. I didn't think she intended to, but she didn't make waste of them, basically. And that 509 Zyra doing really well.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Zyra did exceptionally well. The rest of their team did really well. I think what happened was it came to team fights, and Manchester were just better organised as a team. They knew what they were doing. They knew what everyone else would do as their team, and they just seemed to just perform it a lot better than Cardiff did. Cardiff held them till mid-game. It was about even. They had 8 kills all. There were a couple of turrets down, but the gold was about even because of a couple of dragons. And then Manchester just stepped it up a gear and won the game.
Yeah, and Manchester really, really, really showed why they were the first seed in this tournament. Anyway, guys, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to try and sort out these frame rate problems we've been having, and then we'll be back with ACOG, which is Aberystwyth, I think, versus Plymouth. All right, guys, cheers for watching, and we'll be back in about 5-10 minutes.